at this conference, the Orion Ascent Conference in San Diego. And as you can see, and perhaps soon hear, they're actually closing us down. So I'm really glad we're able to get Matt Morris, who's the founder and CEO of EncorEstate Plans, to join us for what will be our second to last on-premise episode of goRIA at Ascent. We are going to do one later tonight. It will be like 10 o'clock Eastern time with Natalie Wolfson, who's the CEO.
Great.
We'll be at the block party, and we're going to do this really cool pan and just show the festive aspects. But right now, we're going to talk about the content aspects of the Ascent Conference. So, Matt, thank you for joining us.
Yeah, thrilled to be here. Thank you. Sounds like you're saving the best for last and going right to the top.
It's all good in different ways, man. And thank you for coming here. I know you're busy and everything else, so it's great. And I've been really looking forward to this particular topic because everything we talk about is about going RIA. And some of the topics we had today are kind of non-denominational, right? It could be for RIAs, could be for broker-dealers. But this is what I love, RIA only. And I'm going to preface this by saying, try this at your wirehouse, right? And this is what I really love. So I'm going to just tee it up like that. Tell us what EncorEstate does, because I think it's really exciting.
Yeah. Encore is really fixing the broken estate planning experience by empowering the trusted advisor to facilitate the client experience on getting basic estate plans in place. We have a problem. 67% of Americans don't have an estate plan. And it's one that attorneys are not solving. Advisors, time and time again, are referring their clients off to an attorney, and year in and year out, hearing that that client didn't actually go and get those documents in place. They'll do it this year. They're putting it off. So there's that issue of procrastination that most advisors, when you're left to just refer the attorney. Attorneys are great when they're there, when they're able to do it. Most people, they look at the relationship with the attorney. They have to now go, all right, I'm going to spend thousands of dollars. I'm going to sit down with a stranger. I'm going to talk about death. I'm going to have to talk about my family dynamics. And I'm going to get a document that probably I'll need to update and throw away anyway. I'll do it next year.
Right.
Why do I need to do it now? And so we've built Encore we've taken what has existed for a long time. There's been DIY options to go get my estate plan done that anybody can do for themselves. There's an issue though. People they don't know what they don't know. And just answering a bunch of questions, getting the document back and signing it, people haven't been proven to be comfortable with that.
Sure. Or
we'd have it solved with the LegalZooms of the world. And so we've looked at it and said, really the missing piece is the trusted advisor. And so how can we build a solution specifically for advisors to facilitate the experience for the client without practicing law for those straightforward estate plans that now enable them to deliver the best experience for the client, get them to the outcome they need, the proper documents, proper funded documents, deeds funded, beneficiary designations lined up, all of that fit in. And so advisors really that are already doing beneficiary designations, they're already doing gifting strategies, they're talking about these things in a way of educational. You can't give legal advice,
right? But
now taking that same framework, those general education, and why not apply it as the client walks through a questionnaire, filling out what they need, the decisions they need to make for doing a new document.
Absolutely. And not only are you offering the convenience, right? And I've always thought this of, the basic wills, trusts, healthcare proxies, especially where we're domiciled in the Northeast, right? Connecticut, New York City, not inexpensive attorneys there.
Sure.
And I found myself sending our clients to attorneys, and they were doing a fine job. But I think for the basic trusts and wills, they were just getting essentially a Word for Windows document, taking up Bob, putting in Mary, and charging $3,000, $4,000, $5,000.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. So not only are you providing that service to encourage them to get something done that's super important, but you're doing it at a really great price point. And the other thing I really like about your solution is your transparency. It's right on the website. So let's talk pricing. Right? People love to get granular on goRIA. What is it going to cost? Let's talk about that.
Yeah, joint revocable trust, all 50 states, $550 a month. Or $550 one time, $350 for a will-based estate plan. And the beauty of one of the issues we're solving for is when estate plans need to be updated. So document gets in place 2 or 3 years from now, a life event happens, they inherit money, a family relationship changes. We just charge $125 to update the old documents. Everything lives in the software. Our software is absolutely no cost to the advisor. It's just when you produce a plan, that we get paid to help create. We do the document creation, obviously. We do the human review once it's all submitted to our software. And
So
so
it's
we're
not just pure
game-changing.
online. There's actually a human being that will check it out first.
Absolutely, yeah. So all state attorney, state-specific documents, obviously, populated by the software, but then human estate planners that review that from a quality control perspective. Super important. That's where a lot of the online leave a huge gap, that if it's bad information, bad inputs, bad outputs, we catch those bad inputs. We do that quality control. And we're that same team is there to be there for the advisor. So we have estate planners. We're a back office for the advisors we work with. They can come to us with questions. We help facilitate them. Obviously, our software has a lot of educational content to help the client through some of their decisions, to educate them. Advisors learn where to reference those, where to grab those, and present them to the client to make it a great experience.
I think that's really great. And one thing in we're working with you now, right? So, and I am really excited to start deploying this, and we're going to use this with our clients for sure. But we're really excited to use this with what we like to call the KOCs, the kids of clients. And one theme that was really recurring at this conference was the great wealth transfer. What is it? 70, 80, 100 trillion dollars will be transferring from our current generation clients to our next generation clients. And there's another statistic, and I forgot where this statistic came from, but something like 85% of KOCs, kids of clients, when their parents pass, they change advisors. Because advisors never paid them any mind. And what better way to, number one, deliver tremendous value to your current client by helping their child get their basic wills and trusts in order? And what better way for us to solidify that relationship with that KOC? Are you seeing a lot of people do that?
Well, can I tell you a story?
Yeah.
So this is my story and why Encore in part exists. I had an experience in 2015. Sweetest lady in the world, one of my aunts, just loved people, sweet, but she was a procrastinator. 73 years old, she's single in Northern California, passes away suddenly of an aneurysm. Didn't have an estate plan in place. I watched my two cousins go through what they describe as probate hell. 2 years, tens of thousands of dollars out of her estate, hundreds of hours, became probate experts working through this process. And she had been referred by her advisor to an attorney. Go get this done. Go get this done. Never did it. That advisor could have sat down for 30 minutes. So this wealth transfer, obviously that advisor, do you think my cousins worked with that advisor when they had that chaos on their hands?
Sure not.
No, a ACAT form rolls across his desk. They're off and establishing their own relationship. What a tremendous opportunity for that advisor to say, hey, I took care of all this with your mom. We've got everything organized. Here's what we have done. At the time of death, that most critical moment in all of our lives, and especially in the case where it's a sudden death of my parent, that advisor could have been there to say, I've got this set up. Here's what we've done. Here's the power of attorneys. Let's go get access to a 7-figure relationship for that advisor. And absolutely, they had no interest at all in even having a discussion when that's the chaos that was left behind. And so creating that opportunity, obviously building for the next generation, is hugely important here. Taking estate planning serious within that. One of the problems we haven't talked about too in this as well is all the existing estate plans that are out of date. That no one knows who's there reviewing existing estate plans. And this is one we are passionate about solving, that is easy too, in that just take that existing document, upload it to Encore. We give a nice visual summary back of all the decisions, one page summarizing 90% of that 70-page document for a great conversation to say, client, you did this 10 years ago. Is this still what you would want? Often advisors are also finding that, wait, you haven't put your house in the name of the trust? It's unfunded. You're going to probate.
That happens all the time.
You spent $6,000 on that document and it's not funded. We actually do the deed filing as part of this to be comprehensive and make sure that's done. So we have advisors on documents. The client's still happy with the document, and we'll actually go and file the deed and record the deed and make sure the trust they have is funded. And so this is where there are so many opportunities to crack open and for the client, the advisor, to show the client one more way that they're looking around holistically, finding these gaps and closing the gaps.
I love it. And what I love most, again, it is only available in the RIA space. That's beauty. Do you think the wirehouses will catch on and try to do something like this, or?
No, never. Never.
God bless them. they're so
now we work with some
so
independent
predictable and,
Yes.
and so dependable to
sure
status code all the time.
Exactly. Yeah. And we work with some independent broker dealers here and there. And so
Sure.
some of the hybrids
Yeah.
that are working with us, but no, it's not going to be in that category anytime soon.
That's
There
great.
is and we do require training on unauthorized practice of law. That's real. You have to do this the right way. That also means the right client profile. We are not a fit for every client. Somebody's up against the estate tax exemption. They're not a fit for Encore. That you should work with the attorney, your attorney relationship. So we're not even trying to displace attorneys here.
Sure.
We're trying to solve for that mass affluent category, basic needs, and that oftentimes aren't actually going and doing it with the attorney. And so and getting there. So that's our gap. That's the niche that can be filled. An advisor gets a ton of credit when the peace of mind. We all know when we procrastinate year in and year out, and then finally get that thing done.
Yeah.
The peace of mind. And we've built the way we've approached all this is we want the client to thank the advisor when they're done.
Mhm.
So we've built it in. This is advisor centric. You get the credit. We obviously create the documents. We do those other pieces, but the client is grateful to their advisor filling this gap, and the differentiation that's creating where other advisors, as you know, all these wirehouses, they can't do this.
Yes.
You now have just differentiated your practice. We are seeing advisors get a lot of referrals from family members and others in having this. Some are even charging planning fees, and they're driving additional revenue for the planning fee with that. And then retention, which we already talked about, the next generation.
Yeah.
You've just increased your probability. My hands advisor could have increased the probability of retaining them as clients dramatically.
It's a great solution and made all the better by being kind of an RIA-centric solution, which is fantastic.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. Well, I think we can end right on that. Matt,
Perfect.
thank you so much for joining us.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
Enjoy your motorcycle riding.
It was a blast.
Put up some more posts. It was a lot of fun to watch.
That was great. Yeah.
So on behalf of goRIA, fueled by Investment News, I'm Chuck Bayless, and we have one more here today at the conference as it's closing up. But again, join us for late night, which is kind of a cool way to describe that. Late night with goRIA for the real closing session at the fun after party. I'll see you at 10 o'clock Eastern if you're there. All right. Take care. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks.
All right. Thanks, Matt.